Hey there, everybody. Thank you for clicking on the video. Today, we are going to be discussing kind of a big question in the Dune world. We're mostly going to be focusing more on the movie. I'm not going to try to bring too much of the elements from the book into this topic, just kind of what we got to see in part one of the Dune series. And that question is Paul Atreides a villain? You might be wondering it. You might have watched the movie and thought, I don't really know, where this main character is going. We've seen a lot of movies and TV shows where your main character starts out good. They have the best intentions, but then eventually they start sort of stumbling either into a darker path or onto a path that is a for the greater good type of path. It's one of those things that happens a lot, and we're just going to be talking about it a little bit in this video. So first off, Paul, he's got the Gom Jabbar up to his neck. This is when the Bene Gesserit come to his home, and his mother is very worried for his safety, and he must put his hand into the box to sort of prove to the Bene Gesserit that he is human, that he's more than just an animal or a computer. And I know I said I wasn't going to go into the books, but they do state in the books that he is also a mentat, which is essentially a human computer. They don't say that in the movie. At least I don't remember them saying it in the movie, but they sort of have to prove that he's human. At the beginning of the movie, we get this perspective of Paul. He's still young. He's coming into his own. He's experiencing new things, learning new things. His mother is teaching him the ways of the Bene Gesserit. His father and Gurney Halleck are teaching him fighting and leadership techniques and things. And so he's unsure. They're also going to be moving to a new planet and leaving everything he knows. So he's excited, which is good. It's good to be excited, but he's also unsure about who he is, who he wants to be, unsure of if he's the right sort of person who could lead the family, who could lead the house, be the kind of person that he sees his father as. During the midst of this, he's getting visions and seeing things about Arrakis. He's seeing the desert. He's seeing a girl, a woman in the desert. He doesn't really know what to make of these sensations and these dreams, just that they're happening and they've been happening for a while. He transitions from the planet he's on, which I believe is Caladan, to Arrakis, and his character at this point is no idea what the future is going to hold. This next slide, just to sort of establish the way he's feeling with the future of who he's going to be. He's having this conversation with his father. His father's telling him that even he, as a young man, didn't want the burden of leadership. He wanted to be a pilot. A heartfelt moment, and adds a lot to the relationship between these two characters. It adds a lot to the way Paul thinks about his future and the way he thinks about his father as well. Also, he's sort of at the point in his life where he has the training, he's learned a lot, but he has never really used it. He hasn't found a practical application for what he's going to be doing with the knowledge and skills that he has. So a lot happens. I'm sort of gonna time skip a bunch. They get to Arrakis. He has an encounter with a hunter seeker, as Joe talked about in the previous video. They are attacked by the Harkonnen, and his father dies. Everything goes to hell, essentially. He is thrown into the desert, just him and his mother, and they don't know what they're going to do. Being on Arrakis, he is now experiencing new things with his abilities, with his Bene Gesserit training sort of mixed with the effects of the spice. And a mind like Paul's is affected to the extreme. Once they're out in the desert and he has less protection from the spice, he starts experiencing intense visions. These aren't just dreams anymore. They're visions of the future. He starts seeing things like war. He starts seeing genocide. He doesn't know what to do, what to make of it. All he knows is that he sees a holy war that spreads throughout the galaxy, throughout the universe, in the name of himself, in the name of his father. He doesn't see how what he is doing or who he is can possibly lead to such a thing. We get closer to the end of the movie when he's in a situation where he has to fight somebody that he's seen in his visions. You know, you sort of realize the future is, it's not set in stone, and it's something that is determined by his actions. And once you realize that, if you were to put yourself into that situation and realize that the future that you can see is directly affected by what you do right now and the actions and decisions you're going to make into the future, it's just an unparalleled amount of stress, such a burden. But ultimately, he makes a decision when he has to fight. He's seen visions of dying. He's seen visions of, being handed a knife and having to use it. He's heard the voice saying that he's going to have to die to sort of become who he is. It's a very intense feeling towards the end of the movie. You get sort of this energy of impending doom, but also the necessity to win this knife fight and how that's going to affect what he does in the future. And ultimately, he makes the decision to take another person's life. And all of that was in the previous visions, which I'm going to hopefully talk about in another video. He makes this decision, and it impacts the kind of person he's going to be. Paul Atreides essentially dies in the end of this movie. He has to. The person that we've seen up until this moment, the caring son, the friend, the noble, has to sort of fade away so that he can become something else. He almost has to become what he saw in his visions. He has to become somebody who's willing to take life in order to save life. Now, whether he's going to use these new abilities and this new confidence to bring about the holy war or to try to stop the holy war, sort of up to him, but we know that it's going to lead him down a very dark road, and he's going to be making very similar decisions in the future. And these decisions aren't like, what am I going to get from the grocery store, or am I going to fill up my car today or tomorrow? These are decisions of, am I going to be taking hundreds of lives today or not? So if you see that as sort of a way to become a villain, it's definitely on track. Sort of by the end of this movie, he's not a villain. I think we can definitely say by the end of this movie, no, Paul Atreides is not the villain. But is that going to remain the answer to the question as we watch the series progress? And for those of you who've read the books, you guys know what happens. You know that this question is very complicated, and there's a lot that happens and a lot that's going to happen. But for right now, from what we've seen from the movie, the information that they've given us, the story that they've told beautifully, by the way, I think we can definitively say that by the end of this, he's not yet the villain. And hopefully he won't become that, but he's down a dark road, that's for sure. So thank you for watching this video. If it was helpful, if it was insightful, or if you guys want to leave some of your insight for us, help us make better videos, help us be better content creators, leave a comment down below. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, check out the other channel, the Wiseworks podcast, and check out previous videos if you're interested in Harry Potter. We did entire campaigns talking about the filming and characters in Harry Potter. And so we thank you guys for tuning in. We thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.